All right, welcome to another episode from the Chart Reader. So we are going to be taking a look at the wheat sector. I'm going to do four here, actually. I'm going to look at TLRY, HEXO, ACB, and Cresco. I'm going to actually look at Curaleaf on the next one as well. But I did like looking at those last week, and I'm going to add those, I think, going forward. So it sounds like HEXO did approve the merger. That's something I kind of saw in a quick headline somewhere. So I'm not exactly sure when the HEXO chart will go away. If someone could let me know in the comments, that'd be fantastic. But I can still see HEXO here, so I'll at least cover it just to be safe. So, but yeah, actually, the Cresco and Curaleaf tickers actually didn't do as well as I thought last week, but they're still setting up definitely better than what we're looking at right here, right? So we'll talk about the details shortly, but real quick, what are we going to do? Same thing we always do, right? We're going to take a look at the daily and the weekly to see how these things are setting up short term. We have 5 moving averages. There are horizontal support and resistance lines that I do draw manually myself. And then when we're done up here, we'll use the MACD, RSI, and volume as our lower indicators. Hey, really quickly, if you can please subscribe to the channel, like the video, comment on this thing, share this thing across the internet. Look, anything you can do really does help me out with the YouTube algorithms. But for real, just being here and giving me your time is super, super appreciated, all right? Look, there's definitely a lot of bad going on here, okay? It's interesting to kind of see the MACD and RSI do somewhat of a, I would say, a positive thing in most cases, right? Like, I know this kind of looks like it's evening out. I obviously see this peaking up. I'll be honest, I really don't care about either of these two. I think this up here and the volume down here is really what is catching my eye the most, all right? So first and foremost, this 169 line, all right? It really did its best. You can basically say for a full 2.5 weeks, it held Tilly as much as it could, and then really it just started to go down. And what I don't like is how Friday closed, all right? The low of the day is 156. The close of the day was 156. There's no like baby wick at all. Like the entire day was selling, right? I feel like we have now lost the line. Obviously, we've now lost the 8 moving average. We're clearly, let me just zoom out, under all 5 moving averages. And then it's easier to see on the weekly, but we're in all-time lows. This 169 is definitely just continuing down all-time lows. And I mean, it's a scary thing, all right? I always say once you kind of lose an all-time low line, I'm ready for it to go down 20%, right? That's generally the like rough number in my head. And look, 30 cents off of this, again, 15.15, I'm just kind of rounding, right, instead of 16.16, but like 140 give or take is what I'm expecting, and we're not that far from that at this point, right? So as much, and again, I'm gonna at least just give you my opinions on this. As much as it seems like, okay, good, this is starting to diverge, it looks like the green's gonna go up. Honestly, I think it's just taking a breath so that it could come back down even lower. You know what I mean? That's just my working guess, but we'll see. And let me just zoom in here. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely still kind of continuing. I'm more focused on that really ugly candle. The volume the last few days has definitely been over, and really all of these days has been over. But look at just 3, 6, over the last 8 days. It's definitely a lot more selling, and I'm just seeing this thing go down and down. Honestly, there's really nothing screaming this thing should recover, in my opinion. So again, not a great weekly. That's actually an ugly MACD right here. Again, this is just a super tight RSI. I really don't care about this thing. And as much as it tried to recover, it really got, I know people talk about the hammers. I don't really know much about the shapes. I'm not trying to pretend. I just really don't like being under an all-time low support, under the 8 moving average for 3 days, and seemingly going lower as this thing comes down, this thing comes down, this thing comes down. This thing is definitely going down as well, right? So Tilly, I'm actually expecting 140. Once we hit 140, I'm actually ready to lose another 30 cents. Again, roughly going 15.15 instead of 14.14, right? And that'll take us almost to 110 at like my super low if I had to guess. But again, all I'm doing is guessing because there is no past history, right? Like we're in the black hole abyss, right? We're going down the vortex, right? So Yeah, just be careful here for sure. Tilly, not looking fantastic. Again, coming into HEXO, I am not quite sure when this HEXO chart will go away. If you can please let me know in the comments, that'd be very much appreciated. I believe I saw someone say that the HEXO, that the shareholders did approve finally the, like, not finally, but like officially, right, the merger. So I'm guessing in the next, you know, few trading days, by the end of next week, maybe it'll go away. But again, if you can let me know, please and thank you. So what am I seeing here? Honestly, a lot of the same thing that I'm seeing on Tilray, right? All we're really doing is just kind of going away from the 8, kind of coming back, going away from the 8, kind of coming back, going away from the 8. Kind of wanted to go back, but actually ended up not. All right. And again, I see what looks like an interesting RSI. I really don't care about that actually. MACD's not curving back as much as we saw on Tilly, but yeah, end of the day, I'm not liking being under all moving averages. I think end of the day, this screams more to me than anything down here could. You know what I mean? And look, you lose the 91-cent line. All right, let's just roughly call it 10 cents, 10 cents. 20 cents down is 71. We're at 75, right? So I'm telling you, the 20% once you lose an important line is you know, it's just a back of the head number that I've seen, right? It actually has absolutely nothing to do with the weed sector. I would say the exact same thing for EV stocks, AI stocks, you know, whatever, right? So just be careful, right? I know there's some things that kind of make it look interesting, like this kind of normally gets me excited and whatnot, but yeah, there's really not a lot to get excited about here. So yeah, there's not a lot going on. I'm probably going to delete some of these lines, but really if the chart's going to go away anyways, it kind of doesn't matter, right? So HEXO, not too much really to super discuss. HCB, interesting little chart here. I remember on last week's video being surprised that this one looked a little bit better than the rest. It clearly didn't do what it needed to do. And what is that? It's break the 50, right? This 50 moving average has been a consistent issue, right? This right here is probably the best moment it had. It definitely had one good one there and one good one there relatively like same time, right? Maybe you can say the same thing here, kind of the same thing here, but since those, that 50 sucked. And even within those, the 100 has always been the issue right after it, right? But yeah, there's get over the 50. That's the money line really. And now that we're coming up into that 59 line, like at this point, it's more about the 50 than this 59 line, right? Which is, you know, 50 average, 59 line. Excuse me. And again, I normally would draw something right there, but that's basically where the 8 and the 20 is, right? So there's nothing really new to draw here. End of the day, look, we're actually under the 8 at this point, right? So we close, you can't really see it, but let me just zoom in. We actually close down here, right? You can see that's where it's lining up. We can't really see where the 8 is because obviously it's a filled in candle, but it kind of looks like the 8's sitting somewhere here or here. I wish I had more decimals, but clearly this line right here is a little bit higher than this line down here, right? So we're under the 8, we're under the 20. ACB, I again remember being curious as to why it looked like this. Clearly it's kind of falling back into place for lack of words, right? But yeah, get over 60 cents and ACB could actually be a little bit interesting. And again, I know that looks all right. I know that looks all right. I really wouldn't touch this under the 50. I really would. Sorry, under the 50. It's weird that that's like a 60-cent line right on 50 and it's messing with me a little bit, but get over the red line. Get over the red line and make me believe we've broken it is the moral of the story on this one, right? Where are we on the weekly? Man, we're getting closer and closer to the 8. And look, again, get over this line gets you over the 8 moving average. And that's what we're looking for. And look, roughly speaking, going from 60 to maybe the 73 line, that's a 20% swing, right? That's 12 cents on 60. That's 72 actually, right? So it's I don't want to say it's close because I don't even necessarily think it's close, but it's, I guess, not as bad as the others, but I think it's going to slip if I had to guess, unless it does something really big really quickly. So CRLBF. All right. Again, I'm in the US. I can't see the major Canadian indexes on what I'm looking at, right? indices, whatever. This is interesting. And again, on last week's video, I also said it was interesting, right? We are now in a really tight moving average cluster, and the next one up is really far up, right? So the goal is essentially break up and fly up, all right? Definitely needs to get over at least this, right? This 175. Obviously this is the money line for sure, right? What's half of this? It's the top of that guy. This one, okay. So look, sorry, as I'm looking at this, I'm thinking, right? Look, I hate moving average clusters. They're very hard to get out of, because just like this, it looks like it's about to go, and then like a tornado, it sucks it back in, right? So as much as it looks like this is ready to go, right? Because this actually breaks 3. You can barely, as I zoom in, it's easier, right? But this broke 3 moving averages on a single candle, right? This has to close at least right here, if not maybe even closer to like 178, 180, right? So it's close. The problem is, and the easiest one to show is Palantir, all right? Obviously, this is what happens when good things happen, right? But it gets so tight, looks like it's gonna go, comes down, looks like it's gonna go, comes down, looks like it's gonna go, comes down, finally takes off, luckily, right? The opposite is HUSA, right? Again, sorry, right here. Looks like it's gonna go, comes back in, looks like it's gonna go, comes back in, and then eventually dies down, right? So with Cresco, sorry, I don't know this ticker that fast, there we go. With Cresco, it's really about getting out and believing we're out before I'm telling you. This looked like a believe we're out, and then all of a sudden it just sucks it back in, you know what I mean? So I need a big close on Tuesday for sure. So I will say the US market is obviously closed, but I'm assuming that the Canadian indices are open. Let me know that too, because that'd be interesting. I'm assuming it's closed on Monday, but maybe that's incorrect. So hey, let me know your thoughts. Otherwise, thank you.